Welcome to the 100 Club. I'm Tom, and I'm joined once again by Rich and Oli. It's time. We're nearly there. We're going to have our wild predictions session. I've got some questions for them, but they don't know what they are. So let's see what we think is going to happen in this crazy tournament. Welcome, Rich and Oli. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm a little bit nervous about this show. Is that fair? I mean, I think we're going to be riding by the seats of our pants. I know you've had a glass of rum, Rich.
Oh, absolutely. It's a Friday evening when we're recording, watching the England-Pakistan game as we talk. Yes, locked into the cricket. Kent have already won tonight, so I'm happy.
Absolutely.
Nothing says professionalism like the cheeky rum before offering up some opinions.
That I'm comfortable with. It's whether he's paying attention to us at all, which is fair.
Henry Blofeld never goes on air without a cheeky rum beforehand. I'm not sure if that's true. Please don't sue me.
He used to start at 11.
Possibly. And if that's the case, then I'll respect it more because he's a legend. We are going to ask some questions, and with the tournament about to start, I think it's time that we put our necks on the line and made some bold predictions for what we're about to see in the tournament as a whole. So, stand by is all I'll say. The obvious one, though, is the first question. So I'll ease you in with a gentle loosener, as it were, a bit of a long hop, which is who is going to win the 100? And I am happy for any of these questions to give me a men's squad, a women's squad, or both. But I'm going to go to you first, Oli. Who is going to win the 100?
Okay. So I think it's too close to call on the women's side. So I'm going to give you a team from the men's.
Okay.
And I'm going to stick my neck on the line. So it's going to be the Northern Superchargers on the basis of some very spurious mathematical modelling. And I think Rich has probably sort of done lots of number crunching, probably built himself some very elaborate sort of model that will tell him the answer. And
he is a geek.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas I looked at some very simple numbers that said, is it going to score more runs with the bat than it concedes with the ball? Okay. And I compared those two numbers for each team, and all teams are in positive numbers, but some not by very much. So the lowly Birmingham Phoenix are +4, whereas, in my opinion, the mighty Northern Superchargers are +33, and quite a long way ahead of anybody else. So it's got to be the Northern Superchargers. They can't possibly lose this tournament.
Could they lose it if Ben Stokes doesn't play?
Well... Now you've thrown some wild card, possibly unforeseeable event into the mix. Like him playing in the tests for most of the series. So yeah, those numbers do include Ben Stokes.
Okay, but there was some good news on that just yesterday, actually, in the ECB interview as part of the 100 media preparations. I don't know if you caught it, being quite clear that they don't see COVID biosecure bubbles being part of the future for cricket, and we've yet to have that exactly confirmed about what that is doing in the next month. But it makes it seem to me like they are going to release players from bubbles, from the test squad, to go and play in the 100. I don't know if you disagree with me.
No, it seems that whereas probably at the start of the week I was concerned that actually they were just going to go into bubbles again. At this point, obviously things change, but at this point it does feel a little bit more likely that those red ball cricketers are going to be involved, which is great.
Yeah, it's what we want. Okay, so Northern Superchargers for Oli. Rich, who have you got?
So I think Oli was right in his first sentence when he said it's essentially random. There's only 8 games, 100 ball matches. Baseball requires 162 games to sort out the week from the chaff, and here we're trying to do it in a couple of weeks. So essentially, it's more or less random. So it's going to come down to whoever gets on a streak and who has the most incentive to get onto that streak. There's nothing that motivates people like revenge. And who would like to take revenge on the ECB more than Alex Hales, who is playing for the Trent Rockets, overlooked last week for the makeshift England squad? Essentially, it seems like his England career is over, yet he remains one of the best T20 batsmen in the world. So if he gets on a tear, that's almost enough to do it. He just needs one good bowler to back him up. Oh, who's that? Rashid Khan. And he's actually in the country. I saw him playing for Sussex earlier. So unlike sort of some of the other overseas stars who may or may not make it over due to sort of various quarantining and positions where they are on the amber or red list, Rashid Khan is actually here. So I think between Hales and Khan, they're going to propel the Trent Rockets to 100 glory.
Okay. So you've mixed a sort of revenge sort of thriller with a sort of, oh, he's here, give him a game narrative. Admittedly, give him a game narrative for the top pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Well, the difference is if you want to compare, say, who's going to take more wickets between Rashid Khan and Sunil Narine, the advantage Rashid Khan has is he's in the country, whereas Sunil Narine is yet to arrive from a red list destination.
He's coming in off his long run.
A particularly long run. Let's just say
10-day quarantine in it.
Yeah, let's just say that corridor in that hotel is going to see a few deliveries.
Yeah,
potentially.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. I mean, we might come back to him in a bit, but then they are having to potentially, patch in a replacement for Wahab Riaz, which may not be a great replacement, but we'll see. So Trent Rockets, and we've also got some interesting news with the Trent Rockets in that we may be able to give a bit more insight into them later in the week. But I'll keep that under my hat for now.
Intriguing.
Sneak teaser. Yeah, that's me. So who do I have winning? Well, I'm going to go actually for a women's team. So I went through all of the squads again in a modicum of preparation for this show, and I think we did a disservice to the Manchester Originals women. They look increasingly impressive every time I look at that squad, with a combination of Lizelle Lee, Mignon de Pries, Alex Hartley, Kate Cross, Sophie Eccleston on outrageous form, Harmanpreet Kaur. I just think with some of the changes that have happened elsewhere, that's just looking to me like increasingly a team that will do the business for the women's squad. What do you think of that?
Superchargers for me. Never bat against a team that has Callis in the middle order.
Well, Callis by pronunciation, not by spelling. It's to be quite clear.
But I was really impressed.
The first
by
thing
that.
you dropped is an L.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by that middle order of Kim Ince, Rodrigues, Volvart, and Callis at the Northern Superchargers. I thought that looked the best batting lineup. I think batters are going to win this tournament.
I'd love to agree with you as someone who has.
Having said it was all about Rashid Khan about 2 minutes ago.
Well, all right.
Okay. Consistency is what it's all about, is it?
Before you back out of your initial predictions, that's what's now recorded. That's going.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
Live and die by it. But you may therefore wish to use your opinions there in the second question I'm going to throw to you, which will be, who is your player of the tournament? Rich, up you go.
So, as a different answer, assuming Alex Hales doesn't have the amazing tournament that I think he'll have, let's go for somebody a little bit different who has perhaps gone under the radar, and that's Josh Inglis, who's going to be playing for the London Spirit, a late call-up, replacing Glenn Maxwell down there. He's been playing for Leicestershire in the Blast. He's very highly rated, and I think this could be sort of his chance to shine and force himself into the reckoning for the Aussie T20 squad later in the year.
Yeah, it's still a surprise to me when he's not in that Aussie squad now.
Yeah, I think he has a point to prove, but and playing for Shane Warne, he'll have the ideal opportunity to impress.
Absolutely, Ollie, who you got? Was it my turn? Do you want me to rotate this properly?
Not particularly.
Okay, go on then.
I'll duck out of a few of the later ones when I run out of names, maybe. Because I was going to name Alex Hales.
Oh.
Okay. But I guess I can add. There's one thing I would add to this story, I suppose, which is when Hales was excluded from the squad. In the run up to the World Cup, the narrative was that it was all about the team and that they couldn't afford sort of, one person, sort of disrupting the collective. But now I'm beginning to wonder, is there one person in the dressing room whose opinion is saying, I don't want Alex Hales in my team? And he's starting to kind of push against now this sort of quite a big body of work that Hales has put together over the last couple of years, kind of franchise cricket all around the world. So I'm beginning to wonder, this is just Owen Morgan's problem with Alex Hales? And it's now no longer about the team. There's one person whose opinion and one person who is disrupting the dressing room, and it's Owen Morgan by refusing to pick Alex Hales. So allegedly. So pure speculation. But I just wonder how long do you have to be out of this before?
But what have you based that off?
Basically, why else is he not in the side? Look at all the runs he's got. How is he not even in the third team?
That was a strange one, why he wasn't in that third team. But I guess they could say we want to look at other players. But for the T20, it's a very strong side at the minute in the one days. I mean, they won the World Cup, for Pete's sake.
I think that you can't even get in the third team suggests that there's something going on, and we know what it is. The question is, who is it? And I'm speculating, who is it that is saying no? There you go.
This is wild. You might want to say some of this argument for one of my questions later, but I've let you go. You've got all sorts of answers.
I've got all sorts of crazy answers. I think I can top that.
Yeah,
fine.
This is the same reason why Ollie Pope is keeping me out the Test team.
Yeah. Okay. Can I bring us back in a touch? Could I say the player of the tournament will be absolutely, and I'm going to go back to the women's sides again, but I'm going to go for Stefani Taylor for the Southern Brave. Again, big star, absolutely. Bats and bowls, I don't think we have quite registered some of the quality that is still coming into this women's tournament is outrageous. And, I think immediately this tournament is going to be on a par with the Women's Big Bash League. They're making it, the top two competitions available to all the women players. And for me, Stefani Taylor is absolute box office. So I'm hoping to see that at the Southern Brave for their squad. There will be plenty of good offerings though from the women's squads in general. And if I was asked to pick a men's player, I will go with my absolute Somerset bias and say Tom Banton. There you go.
Nothing if not predictable.
Nothing. Yeah, there you go. So, breakout star is the next question. Who will be the breakout star of the tournament? Since you don't want to rotate it, Ollie, you can go first.
All right. Who am I going to go for? All right. I'm going to wind us back to one of the early shows that we put together about the Southern Brave, I think. Okay. Yeah, Southern Brave. And I dug out a little quirk, which was that Danny Briggs always takes a wicket in his first over. Right?
It took about 3 minutes.
Yeah, but I've thought about it a bit more, right? And he generally only takes 1 wicket in the first over, but that's because he's only had 6 balls at his disposal. So imagine what damage he could do at the top if he got to go for a 10-fer.
I'm not having it.
32-year-old Danny Briggs to be the
exactly. Never, he will give hope to cricketers like us everywhere that perhaps it's not, it's never too late to become the global
Of course,
star.
he go on, Tom.
Are you surprised that Darren Stevens wasn't wild card pick on that basis?
Yeah, I am. I mean, get him in there. Doing
45.
Doing it for the older gentleman.
Well, you can tell how influential this video podcast is by the fact that Danny Briggs was called up to the makeshift England squad based on all these recommendations. Mm-hmm. So, Ashley, if you're listening, we've got a few more coming your way.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say, having since that video, he hasn't played a game. He dropped.
So, Rich, breakout star for you?
So, I think that it might seem slightly odd to say that somebody who's ranked the number 1 T20 batter in the world will be a breakout star. But I don't think that Shefali Verma is a household name in the UK. Mm-hmm. And I think that obviously she's a household name in India. She's enormously talented. 17-year-old batter who's going to be playing for the Birmingham Phoenix. But I think that she could be sort of the star of the tournament on the women's side. Incredibly exciting to watch. And I think by the end of it, given the exposure of the 100, the amount that's going to be on free-to-air television, I think she could be kind of incredibly well known this time next month.
That's it. I mean, I'm just about allowing it as an answer, given I think she's probably now top 5 best well-known, cricketers in the world on the women's game. But I get your point. I'll let you have it. Who am I going to go for? Well, I'm going to go to the Northern Superchargers. I was entirely convinced by Ollie's argument and position on Harry Brook when you discussed him not so long ago as a bat. Tremendously explosive, up-and-coming youngster. I wouldn't be surprised if he has an absolute barnstormer for what is an extremely talented lineup up there in Headingley. And it could be the start of an extremely fruitful franchise opportunity for him, if nothing else. So I'd like to see Harry Brook going really well as a breakout star in the international sense, using the boundary stretching that you've given me, Rich. Yeah, we'll take that. Okay, let's become a little bit more controversial after some fairly safe looseness, as I say. Who's the worst team? Rich, who's the worst team out there?
The Oval Invincibles, the worst team. So early on in this, I picked London Spirit as my team. And I'm not sure I even like London Spirit all that much, but I really don't like the Oval Invincibles. So more through wish than analysis, I just decided that the Oval Invincibles are the worst team. Okay,
so this is a grudge. Both. This is from the heart rather than from the head.
Yeah, you asked me this. You asked me this question. We sort of discussed this a little bit before. I know we didn't talk about the detailed questions, so I was thinking about the best and worst teams, and I was absolutely convinced they were the worst team. But I'd forgotten that Jason Roy plays for them, and then I just watched him bludgeon however many it was tonight, and thought, actually, no, Jason Roy's pretty good. But beyond Jason Roy, they've got nobody. The Corran brothers will probably disappear off for England. Rory Burns will go to England as well. They've got a few kind of Surrey part-timers, but mostly the Oval Invincibles are a sort of journeyman side who are going to be firmly rooted to the bottom of the table.
Okay. Is this just because Surrey has annexed Kent? Bearing a grudge.
Yeah. They haven't been the most gracious hosts. Let's put it that way.
Maybe.
Ollie, who have you got as the worst team of the tournament?
Well, it's probably the Northern Superchargers because I've picked them now. It's guaranteed to be the kiss of death. Yeah. So they'll come rank bottom. They'll be overly reliant on Ben Stokes, who won't play. They won't complete many games because the outfield at Headingley, it turns out, is an absolute death trap. And slightest shower, it turns into an ice rink. So I don't know how many points you get for having your games called off for an unplayable pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't get the ground.
I don't know. Get the ground out from under the water. I don't know how many points you get for that.
This is going to be points deduction from the committee if the pitch isn't up to standard.
Can't even get 200 balls on it.
I don't know. Yeah, they'll be playing in the car park.
38 for 7 plays, 33 for 9. Yeah, that'll get the crowds in.
You might be predicting one of my later questions here, but we'll leave that. Okay, I'm going to go for the Oval Invincibles women, I'm afraid. So maybe they are a bit damned, but I feel a bit harsh. But they're not in great nick, and I think that was the conclusion we had when we profiled them. It's not that they haven't got good players; they're just not in good form, some of them. And so I think unless they can get someone like Marizanne Kapp really going for it, and Shabnim Ismail, who's a really good bowler, starting to pick up a lot of wickets, I do fear for them as a squad as a whole. So it's all misery from us for the south of London.
Yeah, grim down south.
Scrim down south, exactly. Yeah. Luckily, we're all miles away from that, right? So
tickets still available for the Oval Invincibles first match.
No, they're not.
They're not. Is it sold out? Is it?
Yeah, it is. Certainly on the 22nd. I think they might have a couple left. Very limited availability for the first game, the women's game.
Okay, against your tip, the originals. So it's
against my tip, the originals. So, well, there you go. Maybe that'll be a bloodbath.
Could be carnage.
Yeah. Okay, next question. A slight change of tack. Who is going to take the best catch of the tournament? Who's going to take a worldie? Ollie.
I think Jemima Rodriguez could snaffle some outrageous boundary running catch. She's got it in her. Might pull out another one.
Super athletic. Inspired by the catch of Diol in the T20 the other day.
Yeah,
maybe?
amazing.
Yeah. That was a great catch.
So they don't. The thing is, they don't come around that often, those catches. So she's had hers for the year.
Yeah.
So I think Rodriguez has still got hers in the locker for this year. So that's my tip.
Okay. Rich, who you got?
So as we've already established, there's a Machiavellian figure in world cricket. And that is Owen Morgan. So Owen Morgan is pulling the strings of all the things that are going on in world cricket. And one thing he always does is he always makes poor Adil Rashid field at fine leg.
Okay.
Either in the one-day side or the T20 side. Occasionally he gets to do third man if there's left-hander. But essentially poor Adil's doing fine leg to fine leg. And he's better than that. And I think he's going to pull some rank at the Northern Superchargers, especially when Ben Stokes disappears off to England and say, no, I'm fielding a backward point today. And they're going to say, Adil, really, you're a career fine leg. He's going to no, backward point. And he's going to pull off an absolute stunner and scream into the camera as he does so. He's just going to be shouting fine leg into the camera over and over again.
Okay.
I feel we should recut the first half of this with some violins playing over the top. Possibly just flash up this picture of a lonely adult trudging around at fine leg.
Yeah, like a montage from The Godfather or something like that. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move us on though. I've gone for a fast bowler from the Southern Brave. Who do you think I'm talking about?
Chris Jordan?
You'd think so. No. Who's going to be playing is actually not Chris Jordan in that sense. It's going to be Jofra. There's positive news about Jofra Archer's injury. I don't know if you caught that. He's going to be playing before the week is out, and then all looking good for the 100, if not the test team. So inspired by his best mate, Chris Jordan, and an absolutely tremendous fielder in his own right as well, Joff. I want to see something spectacular in the deep running, possibly whilst doing his shoelace up.
I'm picturing him carrying one of those little nets that you use to fish out of fish tanks, just snaffling one on the boundary with one of those.
Or maybe just snaffling it from under the nose of Chris Jordan.
Oh, that could be good as well.
Excitement. I'm just so happy to hear he's feeling a bit better and he's going to be playing. Okay, next question. You ready?
Go for it.
What's the surprise of the tournament? What is the surprise of the tournament going to be? And that's deliberately vague. So
why don't you field this one? Why don't you go first on this one, Tom?
Yeah, what is it?
Okay. The surprise of the tournament is there is not going to be a game rained off. I am super optimistic on that.
Yeah, good.
I hear the Manchester Originals only have a few home games. The chances are excellent that they're not going to get any rain, and everywhere else in the UK is entirely sunny in August, I believe. So
I think this incarceration in Scotland has left you with a wildly optimistic view of what the weather is like south of the border, Tom.
I am optimistic. There's to a fault. But there you go. Surprise of the tournament, no rained off games. It's all go. There you go. Ollie, what do you got?
I think it's going to be surprisingly popular. I think there's been a lot of media has been very snooty about the 100, and there's it's easy to say what's wrong with it, and it's very easy to kind of sort of pour scorn on the fact that a lot of players have had to pull out. I guess we've been doing these profiles for a while, so in some ways we're a little bit jaded because we're like, well, you can look at this side, but however good it is, it would have been better with Kane Williamson in it. Or, I think that batting lineup would be a bit stronger if Lisa Healy was in it. However, if you just come to this, cold, as most people are going to do, there's going to be some good teams, some good cricket matches, and it's going to be on telly. And I think everyone will get behind it. It'll be fun. I
have no doubt we're going to see some spectacular cricket. over the 30 days of the tournament. That is, to me, that's not even in doubt.
There's still 16 really good cricket teams.
Yeah, incredibly good. And we've just seen the depth in the English game. So one of the points about this tournament is going to bring some of our less appreciated county stars, and there'll still be county stars, don't get me wrong, I love that. But they're going to come to a wider audience, and they're going to do amazing things, and it's going to help. Love it. Okay. Upbeat. Upbeat from me. Upbeat from Ollie. Rich, what do you got?
I'm upbeat as well. My surprise is that after a couple of days, people are going to stop talking about the rules or the format of it. Okay. I'm watching a one-day international, a T20 international as we speak. Ollie mentioned this in one of our previous episodes, but what is on the screen at the minute is the score, and then it says 55 off 24. So this idea of counting down balls is perfectly normal and perfectly rational. And I think get a couple of days in and all this sort of chantering about, how they're trying to change the language of cricket disappears. And I think people just get behind it.
I agree.
Agreed. Yeah.
It doesn't. We did our preview or sort of our feature on the playing conditions. The only one I think rankled with me was the same as you, Rich. Was if they cross when they're caught, then they go back to their original end. That is a pretty minor rule of cricket in the grand scheme of things.
Well, cricket doesn't have rules; it has laws, as we know.
Thank you for the correction.
And that annoyed me because it was the only time that they really played with the law rather than something that was just a rule.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of things, is not going to change the game.
And they codified the laws over dinner and many drinks at the Star and Garter, didn't they? In the Marylebone,
and they've been tinkered with many times since.
They have. They have.
So okay, good.
But are 200 old white men happy with the law changes? That's the question we have to ask ourselves.
Yes.
Well, seems these three are anyway. Okay. Let's move on that note of optimism all round. Well done. Next question. Which will be your David Bumble Lloyd start the car shortest game? I.e., which game is not going to last very long for some reason? Rich, you got an answer for this one?
Anytime the Oval Invincibles bat first.
Well, we did predict it in our preview. Is that they might be the first team to be bowled out, right?
That's right. I said that, didn't I? Very, very, very well remembered. Thanks for bringing that back up.
They'll be renaming it the 25 for those guys. or as Ollie said, if something goes wrong and they produce an absolute mare of a pitch up at Headingley, and we get one of those games for the purists where the bowlers dominate.
Did the Invincibles go to Headingley? I can't remember.
Oh, I'd have to look it up.
So what it to be vinced?
But that would be quite intriguing, wouldn't it?
If the Southern Brave top order get going.
Well.
Oh God, it could be amazing.
It'd be a stampede, wouldn't it? No, sorry. But that'd be quite intriguing to see actually if there was a proper green top and you had the sight of sort of 5 slips in the.
It would be unlikely, I think. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah, if after the power play everyone's still inside the circle.
Yeah. Bring the helmet out and put the short leg in.
Yeah. Okay. Ollie, what have you got on that one?
Well, I think if I applied the same logic that I did to the who's gonna win, I think I'd look at which team has got the best strike rate with the ball. No, the best economy rate with the ball, and then they would have the best. They'd be playing against the team with the worst batting strike rate.
Yeah,
I think that means that it's the Birmingham Phoenix playing themselves.
I don't remember that fixture in the list.
No, I mean, I guess it's possible if there's a big outbreak of COVID in one of the squads. And they're like, well, we'll just do a team game.
Yeah, if the Oppo don't turn up.
Yeah. So it's not impossible, but hopefully it's unlikely. In which case, I think that makes it the Birmingham Phoenix against the London Spirit.
On the men's side, yeah?
On the men's side, yeah. Yeah, I don't know the numbers for the women's side off the top of my head. Shame on me,
Okay.
but yeah,
No,
that one could be short stuff.
Well, I'd have thought any game involving the originals, because they've got so many spinners. Probably
Just get through the overs.
Get through their fives pretty rapidly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that went into my logic actually, which was which I think the Birmingham Phoenix against the Northern Superchargers on the 17th of August, women's side. So the Northern Superchargers, if you remember, are pretty well loaded with some good players. But actually, we felt that their bowling was a bit short. If they start to serve it up to Shafali Verma, then I can imagine some big numbers going in there. So if they're batting second, Birmingham, and if the Birmingham Phoenix have run through with something like Akhtar Masood or something like that, bowling quite a lot, getting the overs down, then I feel that might be a quick one. So I've admittedly given myself quite a long way into the tournament to be, for timing purposes there, to see if that actually comes to fruition. But I think one of those games could be if Amy Jones and Shafali Verma kick off, it could be a spectacular game, whatever happens, right?
I think we'll see them in a chase situation where I think they've got somewhere to be. They've got a table reservation somewhere.
Yeah. It's one of those things you always say, isn't it? Like, how was the cricket on Saturday? It was a brilliant game. They got through it in 2 hours 53.
yeah. All done. Cheers. And they've announced the replacement for Elise Perry as well, who's Katie Mack. Actually, I know you won't have had a chance yet to look into the stats and the numbers, but again, a good quality Australian all-rounder. So we'll need to keep an eye on that as well for the Birmingham Phoenix women's team. Next question. Sorry, go on, Rich.
I was going to say the hospitality industry's loss has been the hundreds gain when it comes to Australians coming in at the last minute.
Well, that's quite rude to Katie. I'm not sure that's what you meant, but we'll take it in the right spirit.
Oh, it was a joke about Aussies working behind bars.
Yeah, I get it. What we're not saying is, though, this marvellously talented professional cricketer is currently employed somewhere in West London.
No, we're not saying that.
No.
We're not saying
Good,
that.
to be clear. Okay, next question. Wind ourselves in. The next question is the take your umbrella game where we will expect to see the most sixes. Which game is going to see the most sixes? So, Rich, do you want to go first on that one?
Well, I was slightly confused when you started saying take your umbrella, having previously asserted that no game would be rained on.
Yeah, well, you need to take it for some reason.
Yeah. I think
keep the balls off.
I think the obvious answer would be to talk about Trent Bridge and the short boundaries, but I'm going to go for Laura Kimmins playing for the Northern Superchargers. She's going to cause more beers to be spilled in the Western Terrace than Oli in his youth. So I'm going to say, when Laura Kimmins is batting, hold tight to your beer because the ball's coming your way.
Like it. Okay.
Oli, the outfield is not going to survive that, though. They're going to get 2 or 3 spilt beers, and then it'll be called off. We'll be stopping it up for the next 2 hours.
Oli, have you got a team?
So I've got a fixture actually. I've got a fixture for you.
Be.
Yeah, because I read the question. So I think the Oval Invincibles versus the Manchester Originals on the men's side is the fixture, because if you cut the numbers by 6s per 100 balls, this is why I'm slightly nervous that he's actually going to be in the country, but Sandeep Lamashani is the number 1 player with 15 6s per 100 balls. Okay. And the 4th ranked is Sam Curran. So what you really want is a flurry of wickets and those 2 batting together for the majority of because then you're going to get close to 25 6s in that innings, statistically speaking. I know you love your stats, Rich. But
what number did we have Lamashane coming in? Was it 8 or 9?
Oh, yeah, so you need a flurry of wickets. So we can chalk off the first.
He's coming in at 10.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can chalk off the first sort of 8 balls as no 6s.
So it'll be a batter-friendly wicket. Understood.
Yeah. but with a little bit of green on top that only lasts for 8 balls. In fact, actually, I've got this fixture wrong. Right? It's Oval Yes, it's Oval Invincibles versus Danny Briggs's Southern Brave, because he'll bowl the first 10 balls, run through the top order. Sam Curran will be sat at the other end watching this carnage. Sandeep Lamnashane will come in, and then all hell will break loose, because they'll then go at a 6 every 15 balls between them. But then when the Southern Brave come out, Liam Dawson and Jofra Archer are ranked at 2 and 6. So if those two get paired together, again, a few wickets going to need to fall.
Yeah, again, not going to happen, but carry on.
Right. Again, that's that length and spot that Danny Briggs found, someone else is going to pick up on and run through the top. Get these two playing, and they go at 12 per 100 balls and 10 per 6s per 100 balls.
Okay. Have you been playing Last Man Standing again?
Yeah.
This has been your most recent experience of cricket.
Yeah. That's my only frame of reference for cricket. I have no idea of any other version.
I love the statistical analysis. That's very valuable. Absolutely no application to reality.
Stats don't lie, do they?
Yeah, they sometimes do. Stats can say whatever you want. Remember.
Yeah.
Okay,
all I'm saying is if you've got tickets to that fixture, take the bus. Don't park the car outside the ground.
We got you. Let me rescue this. The correct answer, and mark it in your diaries now. Circle it. Friday, the 6th of August, Sophia Gardens in Cardiff. Again, lovely short boundaries on the straight ends, playing the Trent Rockets. So Welsh Fire Trent Rockets on that day. So you're going to see Tom Banton, Glenn Phillips, maybe Johnny Bairstow doing the business for the Welsh Fire. And for the Trent Rockets, you're going to have David Milan. You're going to have Alex Hales. I can see that one kicking off. That's going to be a big scorer. There you go. I'll take it from your nodding that I'm not being ridiculous, unlike you, Oli.
Don't know. That's what people. I stopped listening when the word Tom Banton inevitably loomed into the answer.
Yeah. For those listening in on the podcast, Oli was nodding in agreement with my suggestion.
Yeah, I think it's a perfectly sensible answer, but anything would seem sensible following
it's the frame
Danny Briggs taking a double,
eight wickets,
triple hat trick.
Okay, I'm going to ask you 3 more questions. We're a good chunk in already, but this is fun to me anyway. I don't know if anyone's still watching. Next question. Okay, what is the random, unexpected argument or controversy going to be? On-field incident, I guess I mean there. What are we going to see that's just come out of nowhere that nobody was expecting? Oli, what do you got?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how sensible do you think this answer is about to be?
About 0.
Yeah. So you're about right. It's a duck. Sensible. However, my prediction is this: it's the 26th of July, and the Northern Superchargers are visiting the Trent Rockets, and they've taken a small but vocal posse of rather noisy Northern Supercharger fans with them.
Obviously.
Yeah. Joe Root, frustrated that all the other games have been washed out and their season ticket is worthless. The Northern Supercharger fans decide to give a little bit of stick to their deserting favourite son, Joe Root, while he's out boundary riding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they so the normal Joe Root chant goes Root, but sounds like booze. So it doesn't take to be much of a wag to see that. All you have to do is just change it back to boo to get a very effective wind up.
Right.
And the normally mild-mannered Joe Root will be so furious at this heckling with the very inflammatory boo that it'll do a proper Cantona Selhurst Park moment and leap into the crowd. Will be transformed into the enfant terrible of English cricket.
You're suggesting that Joe Root is going to assault a member of the Northern Superchargers fan base.
Yeah, that's definitely what's going to happen. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it?
Probably wearing a Sheffield Wednesday shirt.
Yeah. Rich, what have you got? Follow that.
No GBH involved. It's going to come down to the final over and a tense run chase for the London Spirit, let's say. And Owen
I think
Morgan,
I know where this is going. Oh no, it's not going where I thought.
No,
Okay,
Owen Morgan, the Dark Prince of Cricket, is going well, taking his side to victory, but finds himself off strike for the penultimate ball. Mark Wood is on strike. They're 7 or 8 down, and Mark Wood, there's 4 to win. Mark Wood goes for a big heave up in the air, all the way out to deep square leg. It doesn't quite have the distance, and it's taken, but the crowd don't mind because it means that Morgan's back on strike for the last ball, except he's not. And half the crowd, in fact, probably most of the crowd, don't know the new law that's come in that the new striker has to go on strike, and outstrides Mohammed Amir to face. And there's consternation in the ground as to why the non-striker is not striking when they clearly crossed, because people don't know the new rule.
Okay.
I love the fact that everyone in the ground would you've assumed everyone in the ground would know the old rule.
Yeah, people would know the old rule.
Everyone's following the ball. They wouldn't notice that.
No, everybody in the crowd would be going, "Look, they crossed. It's Morgan." And then somebody Wag would be saying, "Why isn't Morgan on strike?"
Let's make it clear. You would be saying that. No, one else would have noticed.
To exactly all of your friends.
Yeah.
I would say, it's a shame Joe Root's in prison after that crime the other day. He's not going to play against India now.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to go for something more predictable. I'm sorry. I occasionally think we need to talk about cricket. Yeah, I know. But no, I suppose, okay, so let's go with London Spirit again, but for the women's squad. We've just seen Deepti Sharma running out England stars maliciously in the T20s with, quite clear interference. Rugby
by
tackle.
falling in front of them,
Yeah. So come the 4th game of the 100th season, when Tammy Beaumont and Heather Knight in joint conspiracy have run her out for the 4th consecutive innings. I think Deepti Sharma's going to lose it, and just start arguing with the rest of the London Spirit team live on the hallowed turf at Lords. There you go. Cool. I've missed a question, which may or may not be a relief to some people. Let's go back to it though, and it relates actually to what you were saying, Ollie, in terms of chance.
Does it? Are you sure?
It's a surprise to me as well. But which ground do you think is going to have the best atmosphere? What's the best cricketing chant going to be coming from the stands over the period of the tournament? And you're going to have to think quickly there. So I'll give you a couple of seconds. Try the atmosphere one first. Maybe. Oh, Rich, you ready?
I was going to go for a piece of music. I think what we'll have before every 100 game is that a soft piano will play. And on the scoreboard will be the pictures of all the players who didn't quite get to join us this time round on the 100. Sort of like an in memoriam that they do at the Oscars. So David Warner and Marcus Stoidis. Shaheen Sharafridi. All the rest. I think that'd be a nice touch.
You're going to put up the dates of when they were in the draft and and when they left.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility?
Classy. That's classy.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility they might put up Wahab Riaz's name, thinking he hasn't got his visa yet when he's actually on the pitch? We'll see. We'll see when he gets there. Yeah, Ollie, have you got an answer?
Okay, then. So you've got to imagine this to the tune of Willie Nelson's "On the Road Again."
Okay.
And I think
thinking quickly.
I think all the fans will cotton on to to the intricacies of the bowling 10 balls in a row. I think that's going to be the real exciting moment. But I think you can goad some other batting teams with the threat of actually going for 10.
Okay.
So something like either he or she's going for a 10. He's got your measure and he'll go again. Stumps will go cartwheeling if he goes for 10. He's going to have 5 more from this end. And I think if you had the whole Western Terrace singing that, it could be quite intimidating. Well, as they watch the rain.
How intimidating would it be hearing people sing Willie Nelson? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, they're going to have one bloke with an acoustic guitar to play along with them. I like it. Okay, let's move this along. I was going to go with let's go with the new star, with the Birmingham Phoenix. So I can imagine the Hollies getting a little bit excitable in Edgbaston, as always. Always a great atmosphere there. So that is genuinely going to be a decent answer on the atmosphere question. But they've been given the gift of an Australian cricketer called Katie Mack. So let's have them singing Mack the Knife in some sort of lyrical version thereafter, as she continues to pile on the runs. I'll move it on though, because that's not a great answer. Okay.
You had Return of the Mac you could have gone with, but yeah.
Oh goodness, you are much quicker than I am. Yeah, you're right. Let's go with that.
Extra points for me.
Yeah. If only I was scoring, and if anyone cared.
The one I would have liked to have had would have been at Manchester if Shadab Khan hadn't pulled out. We could have had Shut Up by the Black Eyed Peas, but just everyone singing Shut Up. Just shut up.
Just shut up. Shut up. Yeah. Yeah. That would have happened.
Never mind. There'll be no shortage of music.
Shut up and dance.
Shut up your face. If he puts in something short, some of the short stuff.
Yeah,
the chin music. Okay. Last question, but it's a two.
Thank goodness.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
Here we go. Come on.
Okay.
Let's bring it home.
Last question. What will work about the tournament and what will need to change? So a two-parter. What is going to work about the 100 and what will need to change? Shall I go first?
Go on.
I'll go first as well. So what will work about the 100? For me, the thing that will work is I think it will bring in a new audience, which is the main stated aim of it. And I sincerely hope it does, and I'm a born optimist. That's the way I am. It needs to. It has some of the elements that I think will do that in terms of length of fixture, but most importantly, let's talk about free-to-air television. That happening in this country has not happened enough. It's going to go on YouTube as well. It's going to do put cricket in the public eye again. And the number of youngsters who are playing right now because they saw the Ashes in 2005 live on Channel 4 should not be underestimated. So seeing the 100 live on BBC Two, I think will do a lot for bringing youngsters to the game, bringing in a new audience and making them want to play cricket. So that's what I think will work about the tournament. Great.
Yeah. My daughter was playing in the All Stars program, and one of the other kids there, was good striker of the ball, but his mum was like, he doesn't really know what to then do next because he's just never seen the game, has never seen a game of cricket.
Yeah.
And so, it's got to be hard to take up a sport if you've got no frame of reference. So hopefully, as you say, there'll be thousands and thousands of kids up and down the country that watch the 100 and think, this looks like fun. Grab a bat, grab a ball, go out and start playing cricket.
There you go.
Should be great.
Absolutely. And the other bit, what might not work, well, I'm going to go for the obvious one again. They need to sort out the scheduling. And a lot of it's not their problem, in that COVID has moved international schedules. I get that. But they need to work out how it's going to fit with the English domestic cricket season, with the ODI game here, with the Vitality Blast properly. They need to sort that out because at the moment, there's no reason to shut off county fans, which they have done to a degree to date. So sort it out. make sure that we can be as inclusive as possible and get as much of the game to as many people as possible. Sort that scheduling out next time. So there you go. That's my what will and what won't work. Slightly serious, but I don't apologise for it. Rich, what do you got?
I think I'd echo that what you just said. I think what will work is the cricket will be of a very high standard, and I think that the women's game, which has come along leaps and bounds in the last few years, a lot of people will be surprised at how good a product that is now.
Yeah,
I think you're right about what needs to change. I think one thing that has been forced upon them is this sort of wholesale changes of the overseas stars. It's ended up now that we've largely got the same cohort that have been playing in the Blast. I think it does need to separate itself in terms of which stars come over. It needs to be genuinely the best in the world playing in it. And I think I echo that around the scheduling, because it's been sold that we can have our cake and eat it, in that a lot of the money will filter through back to the counties. This is needed to keep the professional game in the country going and in rude health. But as we record, just before the eve of the tournament, there's a lot of people who are very concerned about what's happening in the county game, both with the depletion of the squads due to isolation, but also, the Royal London Cup just seemed to be pushed further and further down the pecking order, almost to sort of like a second team competition. And I don't necessarily see why that needs to happen. I think that they need to be clever about it. It is difficult. There is so much cricket played in the summer, but they need to be smarter with the scheduling.
Yeah, I think the answer, for me, the answer there is to think about, what is the focus in a particular summer? And you don't have to be playing all the formats all the time. Otherwise, otherwise they do overlap. The summer is not that long. We're not blessed with that many months in which you can, guaranteed to get some decent weather. Because you could try and extend the season, but who wants to see games scheduled in the start of April, early October? Yeah, they just, no guarantee you're actually going to get them played. And if they are, they could be pretty freezing.
Yep. Okay, Ollie, your turn.
I'll echo the point about consistency of players. I think if you'd had a Panini sticker book, it would have been in shreds, because you'd have been peeling players off as fast as you were putting them in at one point.
There is one. I've got a David Warner shiny sitting upstairs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Maybe those. I hope you didn't use him, because he'd be collectible now. The rare one. I think the thing that I hope works is the threat of punishment for slow play. So if they can actually, if the captains, really do take on board the fact that they're going to have to get through their overs, none of this sort of faffing about spending hours to set a field, and they also enforce it on the batsmen. You don't have to have a conference, to discuss exactly what's just happened in every ball, because we've just seen it. You're only 22 yards away.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll all quicken up, and we can spend all our time actually watching cricket rather than just people talking about what they might be about to do in the game.
Yeah, and absolutely. Roll on the cricket. We are ready. We've done our profiles. We know who we're talking about a little bit, even if we don't always make a compelling case. I will give you £100 myself, Ollie, if Joe Root scissor kicks into a fan at any point in the tournament. Doesn't have to be a Northern Supercharger. And I'd just come back to you just go on, Rich. I
was just going to say, if anybody's watching this and this is the first video they've seen of us, we have 16 very sensible analytical videos of each of the squads where we don't speculate on who's going to commit GBH. So please check those ones out.
And I was about to say, Rich, you are quite right. But we actually have a second part of our previews, in that you are going to use a statistical model that you are developing. And, without blowing too much, praise your direction, you are a gifted scientist, let's say that way, and a person who uses this kind of stuff in your real world. So you've been developing some data and how that's going to work, and you're going to use that to elucidate and explain who actually might win, who might do well, and what the tournament may actually do. So that will be a second part to this prediction show. So if you'd like something like that, then that will be coming as well. So
Can I request you run the Danny Briggs 8-wicket special?
I will work out the odds of that happening.
Yeah.
Please feel free to blow that one into smithereens, so we never have to hear it again.
What does Ziggy suggest is going to happen?
Can I also ask that you don't use it to pick your fantasy team, which is currently live on wisden.com, and I'll put the link down below. We have got a public league, so if you're watching this and you fancy a bit of fantasy cricket, then do join us. A number of you have already done so, and that's great, and I look forward to losing to you all. Because that's what I do. There you go. It's been a real pleasure. Oli, Rich, thank you so much for joining.
Cheers, Tom.
Cheers.
We will be back very soon with some live cricket. Look forward to seeing you there.